Hey, real quick. Yeah, I was watching something on Twitter and two people was getting into it. Jem and who's always getting
Jenna.
into it. Jem and Jenna. Oh, whose side are you taking?
Oh, you mean Jemmy
What did I say?
and Jenna?
He said Jem.
You said
He said Jem.
You said Jem, but it sounded like Jen. So I was like, Jen trying to get back on the show or something?
No. It was
'Cause I believe-
Jem and Jenna. So like, what the fuck are they fighting over?
I guess she called out Zach again or something, and Jenna decided to pull up a bunch of old Jemmy tweets and was like, "Look who's fucking talking," kind of situation.
Listen. Why do people keep pulling up people's old tweets? Listen, we get it. All of us was pieces of shit 10 years ago on Twitter. So we don't have to keep doing this.
Well, that's what Jemmy said. She's like, listen, my tweets from 10 years ago. His tweets were from like a month ago. So she's like, his tweets are recent. So he's an asshole recently. I'm just an asshole that was ignorant 10 years ago. I like my background.
I'm just waiting on like Becky and Malik to go. I'm ready.
What's really good, Posters? Welcome to another episode of Love, War, Challenges. I am MTV Malik. He is Tyler Louder. She is Becky at Giftmaster Bex. That's it. It's just us.
I didn't get my little AKA portion. Okay.
No, because you're the reason why we're starting 11 minutes into this recording. So, no.
That is not my
You're
fault.
so lucky this isn't Skype and I can't just boot people like I used to. Oh, God. Those were the days. Remember that? Remember just muting people and booting them out of the chat?
But the funny part is you still had my audio for when you booted me out. So you can still hear me cussing you out.
I was splicing back in. It really worked out.
As I jump back in.
What's really good, Posters? Another challenge season has come to an end. It's been one hell of a ride, a lot of ups, a lot of downs, but CT and Amber B has been crowned king and queen of the challenge. 36 free agents. Real quick, let's just start it right off the top. Did the right team win? Becky.
I think so. I think that for a team that was literally just thrown together so recently, they were able to communicate with each other, even though, yes, they had their arguments. They still were able to come out with the win and be ahead of everybody. Like, there was no touching them, at the end of the day. So, yeah, I think the right team won.
And Tyler?
I think so. The way the show was edited from episode 1 give a really good winner's edit for CT. If you caught it early, they pretty much pitted it as if he was going to be the guy that's going to be targeted all season, and they're not going to let him get into elimination or nothing. And here he is, the GOAT.
Trying to send him home first.
So, it's not the first time I heard you say, something so outlandish, but you referred to CT as being the GOAT.
He is the greatest challenger of all time. When it comes to physicality, when it comes to puzzles, when it comes to social game, when it comes to dominating a season on his own or with a partner, he has done it on both ways. When it comes to winning championships as being a trifecta winner, he's done it. He's won with multiple different partners. He's just won a bunch of eliminations. I know everybody's going to look at it and be like, well, he's like 6-5 in eliminations, but there's so much fault in there. He's had people throw the final elimination, AKA rivals, to prevent him from winning. He's literally been paired up with Veronica, who's past her prime. That
is such a great euphemism.
If it was earlier, then maybe it wouldn't matter. I mean, but he has had so many things. He's been kicked off a show twice. You could argue that if he never gets kicked off, Adam King never throws, he's not partnered with Veronica and anybody else he's partnered with, he could have
7.
He could have 7, maybe 8 championships.
It's a bold claim. Becky, what do you think about these outrageous claims by Tyler Louder?
I don't think he's too far off. I think CT is the most well-rounded. And in truth, had he had individual seasons prior, I think he would have won. These team ones where he had so many people who purposely got rid of him or, obviously knew how to pick
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Not really. But anyway, CT got screwed over a lot throughout his time. So I think that, Tyler has a point. Whether I'm saying he's the greatest of all time, I guess we have to wait until the challenge is officially over and done with to be able to crown that person.
I also challenge you there. CT has been screwed over in some cases, but a lot of times he screwed over himself. He alienated himself from the cast, and his own actions got him into trouble. And some stuff was out of his control. Do I believe that CT is the GOAT? I believe that that case exists. I think you can't put him any lower than the 2 spot, though. He's either, if you don't have him as a GOAT, he has to be number 2. I know people want to say, Darrell or Kenny or Jordan or Wes, but there's really no debate. It really comes down to Johnny and CT. They are the kings of the challenge.
And here's another thing you have to think about. This is like CT has had 2 challenge careers. We talked about this a couple weeks ago and everything. And realistically, CT, who he is today, when he had all that stuff happen with him, which was right after Rivals 1, if you just go where him and DM were partners on X's 1 and on, he's got 4 championships in like the last 9 seasons he's done. So like the first 8 or 9 he did, he was destructive and destroying himself all the time. And that things happened to him. But from there on, he's made 6 or 7 finals. He's won 4 times, 5 if you count champs versus pros 2, or champs versus stars, sorry.
Yeah, one hell of a winning streak. Let's go ahead and talk about the final for a little bit. This final was very, very puzzle heavy. Very puzzle heavy. We didn't see a lot of stamina stuff. We didn't see a lot of strength stuff. We didn't see, the carnival tricks that we've seen in the past. I'm not saying that this final was set up for CT, but do you think that CT benefited the most out of all of the competitors for this type of challenge?
I think each team had somebody who was a little bit more brain heavy. Cam for Corey and Cam, CT for his team. I would say, as much as I hate to say it, Fessy's a little bit smarter than Kaycee. And Nani, I guess, would have to be the brainchild of Leroy and Nani. I guess that would be the weakest team mentally, I think. But everybody seemed to be pretty even and stacked when it came to someone who had more mental strengths and the person who was more physical. So I can understand wanting to make it as even as possible, especially since it's guy-girl partners. So it can't be all stamina and lifting because the girls aren't going to be able to do as much as the guys. And that's just unfortunate physics.
All right. And Tyler.
No, it wasn't tailored to him at all. Let's just take all the recent fans, because there's a lot of recent fans of the challenge and everything. If anything, it was tailored to Cam. Cam is built for this exact type of final. Puzzle heavy, short distance runs. She's got good stamina, but it's not too long distance. It's not sprints. It's kind of perfect for her. Corey's built to just kind of be a muscle. Here's the thing. CT's best placement in finals has always been Thailand. It's always been a humid, hot weather place. We've seen him in a cold weather final before, or a mild temperature where they change constantly. He doesn't do as well. So I don't know. I don't think cold weather. I think cold weather has such a disadvantage. The bigger of people that are it's mainly guys, because girls aren't ever that monstrous like CT. Guys like Fessy, Zach, CT type stuff like that. Cold weather doesn't benefit them. Their muscles cramp up so easy. So I don't think it was tailored to him. I just think he's smart, but he's had to develop that.
Well, also you got to think of it this. I was thinking of this as I was watching it. I was like, this is redemption for X's, where he died on that mountain trying to climb up, and DM's like, come on, CT, come on, trying to will him up the mountain. So there's There's some redemption out there for CT in this.
Uh-oh, Malik.
What?
I just pushed a red button right now. Continue, though. Ask your next question. Ask your next question. Let's just move on.
Listen, if I haven't told you before, I want you to know now.
I'm backing up my audio now.
The name of the group chat is literally back up your audio.
I haven't done this in a long time. I'm sorry.
What, anyway, last week?
Exactly. Anyway, before we continue, I want to give a big shout out to our sponsor today, Crown Royale Vanilla.
I was going to say, wait, is it flavored?
I really like this one. It's a little bit weaker than the regular Crown, but it gets the job done. And look, I didn't even do that much drinking. There's still this much left, and we're not going to burger this whole bottle tonight. We will tomorrow night.
That's my favorite brand of Crown. I don't know if you noticed this, but you have to check it out. And I don't know if we can it's like breaking news. We do have a sponsorship opportunity in Instagram in our DMs. And I don't know why we always get these trimmer people that want to go with us.
Oh, really? You know what? I'm going to address that. Remind me after I hang up.
I got you.
Let's go ahead and move on to the obvious. I mean, we understand that CT is the king of this challenge. But let's go ahead and talk about the man of the hour. And that's going to be the completely unfair and crushing defeat of Fessy in today's final. Fessy is the person who obviously would have won this whole thing, but Kaycee decided to go out there and sabotage him and ruin this opportunity for him. It's bad enough. It is bad enough. He couldn't even compete during this. He was being locked out, and it's unfair. Let's talk about how the challenge and the cast and production have conspired to keep Fessy from competing, to keep Fessy from being the best that he can be. Why? Why are they doing this to him? Anybody? Fessy, he's sitting there, he's not eating. Kaycee's doing this eating. He got a grumpy face. He's sitting off to the side. He's not being the best partner he can be. It gets to the point where TJ has to come up to him. And mind you, that's fucking embarrassing. If TJ has to come up to you in the middle of a race for $1 million and ask you, do you even really want to be here? You're fucking playing yourself. The fact that TJ has to come over and ask him, does he still want to compete? He says yes. He eats some of the shit for a little bit, and they time out. What do you make of Fessy's behavior, Becky?
Fessy is such a piece of garbage. Just trash. That man's been talking shit all the way up and down, all his confessionals and everybody's face. Who's old now and who can't hang now? It's definitely not CT, who chugged that fucking glass of blood without a problem. And when you have Kaycee hobbling her ass through this and literally chowing down on the worst food ever, at least give her some effort. At least try. Don't sit there like a pouty little toddler who was told that they can't go somewhere, they can't do what they want to do. So now you're always having a temper tantrum in the fucking corner. He needs to never come back. And the fact that he's over here like, it just wasn't fair to me. I couldn't compete and everybody would do it. Oh, fuck you. You know who couldn't compete this season? Corey. Because his partners kept getting sent home. He didn't get to compete in half of these eliminations or half of these dailies to be able to do anything. So don't complain and bitch and moan about not being able to compete when people like Corey, who have been begging to compete, have been left in the cold. Fuck off, Fessy. I hope you never come back. And if you do, I hope you never win. And one more last thing I want to say, though, is seeing Kaycee apologize to Fessy at the end broke my heart, because she gave it her all and Fessy just gave up. And she's literally like, I'm so sorry, dude. No, you got hurt, but you still kept it pushing. And he was a bitch. Don't ever apologize, Kaycee. I don't even like Kaycee. And I felt bad for her for the fact that she felt the need to apologize.
No, I definitely feel you on that. I don't think it was really on Kaycee to apologize. And it just really shows that even though I find Kaycee to be a little bit on the boring side, her heart is just as big as Fessy's ego, if not bigger. So big props to her. She was a class act through the whole thing. And her faith it never faltered. She was with the shits from beginning to end. And she may not be the most entertaining, but she really embodies a lot of the best parts of the challenge.
Facts.
I'm not opposed to her apologizing. It didn't bother me at all. Like as an athlete, like I've been injured before, and I've apologized to my teammates that I couldn't deliver as much as I should have because I got hurt. So it makes sense. As for Fessy, like I kind of said last week, I figured this was going to happen. He's one of those guys that is not truly a winner, and he was looking for an out, and he got an out. And we know he's not a good eater. He couldn't eat last time. There's nothing really, we can't really fault him on that. I feel like that is the hardest thing to get prepared for as a challenger. Like if you're a bad swimmer, go swim more. If you're not good at running, run more. If you're not good at puzzles, do puzzles. Like,
Fessy showed us how to do it.
Like, what are you supposed to do? Like, oh, you're not good at eating food. All right, go get this dumpster.
Turbo showed us how to do it.
Yeah, but I'm just either way though.
You hate Turbo.
I don't hate Turbo. I don't think he's that good of a character myself. I just think it's because he has an accent and you can't understand him that people think that's hilarious, and I think that's kind of degrading. But neither here nor there. Whatever. Like
he's hot.
He's funny because I can't understand him. Like that's kind of insensitive. But anyways,
it's kind of woke of you.
I like Fessy on the challenge. I don't like him as a person, but I think he plays the best villain role that we need to have. There's not a villain on the show. He's there. Good.
He's the villain that Josh could never be. Josh is just a villain because people dislike him. Fessy is a villain because he actually plays a villain pretty well. Oh God, Josh would give anything to be Fessy.
The only way that this could have been any better is if when the TJ went to go ask him a second time if he was going to eat or continue, if he'd have been like, "Hey, Jay Mitchell, are you going to finish this food or not?" Like,
yes.
that would have been the best way to add to that. But otherwise, I mean, I don't really care that he didn't eat. It makes sense in my eyes why he didn't eat. I don't agree with it. I would have still tried eating, because if Kaycee's going to go. But then again, I mean, even if they would have done that, they actually would have had a chance because, I mean, they were in a canoe for a good portion right after that and only had to run for a little bit towards the end. So
this is what Darrell says. This is what I believe. If you can't eat, you can't compete, period.
That's fair. Now, in his defense, though, there are some finals that don't always feature large amounts of food.
Oh, it's coming back, yo. It's coming back. They took it away for a little bit.
There is a strategy to this. If anybody's is one of these history challenge buffs like me, and you just like rewatch show like crazy, you rewatch Rivals 1, Tyler Duckley was like sick the night before a final. So he didn't get to eat that night. He threw up and then he woke up, didn't eat breakfast. And then they went to the eating part and he was like, I haven't ate for like 12 hours. I'm starving, and just like pounded the food down. That's the strategy. Just don't eat the day of the final. You come there, you're starving, you'll do it.
Well, unless you're Fessy and you don't want to eat balls because,
Well, look at this. Let's go ahead and whiny baby. Let's go ahead and move on to the most beautiful part of this challenge. That's not just Leroy fawning over Cam, which was great. But the cave, the glacier cave that they was into, I think, you know what I think? I'm pretty sure the challenge, when they were doing the scouting, just found this cave and they're just like, this is the cave. We got to do a major part in this cave, and we got to revolve filming all around this cave. There's also a little bit of controversy when it came to the cave. Apparently, Amber B was still working on her puzzle, and they kind of changed the rules to whoever finished first. Because I guess Cam was a second finish. Anybody know any more about that?
It didn't look like that for me, though.
Oh, Nani was.
Nani was a second.
Yeah, but apparently maybe Team CT didn't really get it. And I think it was one of the greatest advantages they had since getting there. They got to sleep in something thermal and waterproof. Second place got a waterproof sleeping bag, and third place had a wool blanket. I'd never been a fan of these staying up all night things. It went like World of the War II. That one was kind of okay, where they stayed up kind of late and they had like an elimination kind of thing with Ninja and Hunter. That's kind of okay, but staying up all night, standing on a rock and have to switch with your partner, I don't think this part of the challenge really adds anything. Do you guys feel differently?
I mean, I'm not against it, but I embrace the challenge for what it is. I don't know. I think it sets a different tone. The only problem I have with it is like somebody could have major momentum day one, and then just like a bad night of sleep just ruins that momentum that they had. That's the only part that I would dislike. But I don't really care if like one person has, I don't know, different sleeping arrangements. I do think having equal sleeping arrangements is more fair and balanced. And I think Battle of the Seasons did it the best, where they kind of had to stand in like a little square holding a camel. And if they stepped out of the square, the other person had to like rotate every time or whatever. But it doesn't matter to me.
All right, Becky, how do you feel about these late nights, staying up all night, sleeping parts of the challenge?
I mean, I agree with Tyler. I'm not a really big fan of it. I understand what they're trying to do, which, number one, waterproof sleeping bag or waterproof blanket, it doesn't matter. I want to be able to sleep on the floor in a glacier. I mean, they're wet, they're cold. There's no way they're going to be comfortable even in a water. You're already soaked getting into that sleeping bag. So you're not going to be comfortable anyway. So, I mean, you saw Amber B couldn't sleep. So she just stood up and took the thing, and CT is a bear. So he's just like, all right, hibernation time. But I think he would have been able to sleep under a wool blanket, to be honest.
Absolutely. It's during this time in the cave, we see Leroy let everybody else know that at this point, we see that Leroy, he lets everybody know that this is going to be his last challenge. CT says he kind of figured it out by the way he was playing. Corey's taken by surprise. We are all sad at the fact that Leroy's going. I put out earlier tonight that I think that Leroy is like the Dan Marino of the challenge. Top tier guy, great competitor, truly elite, but just never really was able to be in a position to win the last game of the season. How do you guys feel about Leroy's eventual departure?
I'm sad to see him go. He was always a really great energy. He's fun. And a lot of people say, oh, he was ruthless this season. I don't think he was ruthless. I think he was smart. I think he played smart for the first time in his entire career. So I go for I wish that he would come back and play another game like this, because I think he could feasibly win if he plays like this every single time. But he never really wanted to ruffle feathers, which is why he never played like this before. But I'm glad he's going out on top, or with a bang, I guess, more to the point.
I mean, as Leroy's agent, you know, it is a sad day for us all. I like the Dan Marino analysis, the breakdown. It's almost like there's a challenge. Oh, hey, we have a video on YouTube about the best to never win. He's on that list.
He is on that list.
People should check that out. But it is a sad day, and I here's the thing: the way he's played his whole challenge career, to me, is boring, to be real. But it gets you farther in the game, and if it gets you farther in the game, you're making more on. If you're not getting that guaranteed Johnny Bananas money,
you're getting that weekly.
You're getting that weekly. Playing a boring game in a friendly social game keeps you there longer, makes you more money, bit longer vacation, makes sense. But to win, I mean, he's seen what he needed to do. And I really think that the comments, I don't even know if they showed it. It was kind of like in a preview of an episode, but I don't think they ever showed it in the actual thing. But Wes said something to him, and he said, it was, I'm paraphrasing, but it was like, that's the difference between like me and you and everything. That's how winners do things, and you're not a winner, something like that. He didn't say it in like a mean way, but it was just like letting him know, like that's how winners play. If you're going to be a winner, you got to play. And then Leroy we saw it throughout the season, just kicked it up.
Yeah, I think I saw it in a preview, but yeah, I don't think they showed it on the show.
It's definitely going to be sad to see Leroy go. He busts his ass for us. He busts his ass on the challenge. I think he tried hard. I think he played a great game. I think overall, he's been a very positive influence, and overall, just a good guy. I think his presence on the challenge will be missed. by, and I think he's going to be replaced by more of these, social media hungry opportunist challengers coming up in these newer seasons. So I'm going to miss the guy. He was definitely great on the challenge.
His replacement is actually already there.
Oh God, I'm really feeling like you're going to say something stupid.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if you, but like realistically, Nelson's already there. Like Nelson's a younger version of Leroy. He kind of likes to be on everybody's good side, likes to have a good time, doesn't like the ruffle feathers unless he's drunk. But I'm just saying, sober Nelson, he's really good in physical eliminations, and he's just like that guy that always kind of comes up short. Like he's kind of got that role that Leroy plays. He's got an alliance member that takes the brunt of everything, and that's the vocal person, just like Leroy. It's very similar. Like when you break it down, I mean, Leroy doesn't make as many dumb comments as Nelson, but I'm just saying, play style is almost like a replication.
I really can't wait to see Nelson back. Nelson is somebody who's really, really grown on me over the years. Moving on, I really wish there was a lot more to talk about this challenge, but
well, there's one thing we didn't talk about.
Hit me.
And I don't want to get beat down with it and everything. We had a rookie winner. I mean, Amber B came out. It's Amber B, right? B?
Yes.
B.
Okay.
Yes.
I couldn't. I remembered, but I didn't really remember. But yeah, I mean, it's a rookie winner. First time we've had a rookie winner since War of the Worlds 1. First time we've had a female rookie winner since Battle of the Seasons with Team San Diego is the last time a female rookie won.
Has it been that long?
Man. Oh man, I'm gonna get bashed because I should know these things. But I'm pretty sure that's the last time that we had a female rookie win.
Battle of the Seasons was right after.
Was after X's. Yeah.
Yeah, you might be right.
Yeah, Battle of the Seasons is season 23 because season 24 is Rivals 2.
And 25 is Free Agents.
And 22 was X's, and 21 is Rivals. 20 is Cutthroat. 19's okay. You guys.
So you're saying that having a female rookie winner, this is a big thing. It's something we don't see often.
It's been done. Like, I don't know. I mean, since they've switched the format from like team formats, it's only been done like a few times.
Wait, wasn't Ashley a rookie when she won her season?
Second season. Rivals 3 was her first season, and they got like 7th place when she was partnered with Corey. Came back for her second season and won an Invasion.
Okay, sorry. For a second, I was trying to remember.
But I just think it's a really cool thing for us that we should talk about and highlight, because not only is it the first time we've had a female rookie winner in the 30s and for almost the past, I don't know, like 8 years, but it's the first Big Brother winner that we have as well on the challenge.
That's a very good point. That is a very big deal. We got a rookie female winner, a woman of color, and Big Brother finally brings home the gold. The funny thing is, I think the reason why it's not really hitting everybody the way it's hitting them is because of the game she played. She really played a understated game that really didn't come alive until later on in the season. And the whole entire CT and Amber thing being put together, it just kind of came together. It wasn't really planned. And once they seen that it was working in the final, they kept it together. I think because Amber's and CT's road to get to the finals was so different, it feels like she's not getting enough of the credit. Like, people feel, I think people are getting the general feeling that all she had to do was keep up with CT and not slow CT down, then they're going to win. I think she contributed a lot more to that. When it came to eating, she was right there. She maybe didn't do that great with kayaking, but she kept up every step of the way. When it came to the cardio stuff, she did help with the puzzles. So no asterisks, no bullshit. She came in there, she kicked ass, she beat everybody. Killer Cam, who is a beast and who we love very much, and Tyler definitely likes Cam, as so do I, and everybody loves Cam. Guess what? She kicked Cam's ass, Nani's ass. She's been doing this 12 seasons, something like that. Kicked her ass. Kaycee touted it as this big brother beast. And guess what? Amber B, it might be the real big brother beast. So good point. Good point, Tyler.
Becky, before you dive on in, I have the statistic. There has been, since they switched from team formats to where they've done like pairs, solos, where it's been mixed up constantly. It's not the same 25 people on one team 18 of them get to be a champion, like back in the good old OG days. But there's been 6 female winners on their rookie season. Then again, though, 2 of those were on fresh meets where there's a forced rookie winner. But yeah, so that's just where they've been. And it is the first one since Battle of the Seasons. There's been lots of guys that have won on their first season. There's been lots of girls that have won on their second season. The second season is when we see a lot of females come out and have their big welcoming and everything. But yeah, this just happened. And Amber just jumped up to number 9 all time on total money earned on the challenge.
When those prize purses get big. But I think the thing with Amber is I think she's a great runner. Not really great mind-wise. She's all right, but I think she's kind of a middle of the road player. Like, I think that's kind of why everybody's kind of like whatever, because she's kind of blah.
I don't know. Her challenge championship says otherwise.
Throughout the dailies and her gameplay in the dailies, she's been mediocre to mid.
She got a couple dailies under her belt. I think 3, right?
She's kind of mid tier. I'm honest.
3 dailies is a lot more than a lot of other people won.
I'm sorry. Her gameplay was forgettable. It is what it is, but she did amazing in the final.
Really?
She did keep up with CT.
I'm sorry, Becky.
And hey, shush. I'm not done yet. Stop interrupting me, sir.
But I'm disagreeing with you. I think her gameplay is understated. She went into eliminations and won. She won dailies. She did good with picking partners. She don't get to pick her opponents. Against whoever they put in front of her. That's the answer. Continue.
Okay, whatever. It doesn't matter. I'm just saying her gameplay over the season, to me, was mediocre to mid-grade. I don't think she's an amazing dailies. Doesn't really matter how well she did on the dailies, though she did kill it in the final. And she, a lot of times, was running ahead of CT. So she wasn't just keeping pace, she was making CT keep pace with her when she was running. So she's got her strong points, but at the end of the day, I think she played mid-card throughout the season, which is why people are kind of like, okay. I didn't see this during the season.
I was definitely surprised, but I have a question for you guys. Does CT win this final if he picked Cam in the beginning?
I need to retract my statement. Cam would have been a good partner for this. I didn't realize how hard she was going to push and try to beat. Like, she literally could have stopped and let Nani win so Leroy could have got second, and she still pushed and got that. So I take that back.
I was actually going to point that out, and I completely forgot. So
even Kara kind of called me out on Instagram. Was like, I don't know what this is going on, but I'd pick Cam any day. But that's
wait,
okay.
Kara?
yeah. She commented on our last thing on Instagram about that, and but if he would have picked her from week 1, I do believe that it would have been a massive domino effect. I don't think CT would have been called in the first elimination, which in theory, I believe if Cam was working with a champion, Wes would have been around longer. I think that we would have seen more Big Brother people go in earlier. And I think our final 4 teams would have been a lot different. But I do think Cam and CT, if they were still together, would have been in the final still.
We got to do a deep dive in this. We got to do a what if CT picked Cam in the beginning. That would be fun.
But my thing is Cam and CT do not communicate well together. The issue is they would be butting heads the entire season.
I don't think so. I just think that women are very strong, independent people who can do anything. But I do think that they hold grudges sometimes. And I think that's what happened when they became partners. That like, oh, I'll forgive you, but I ain't going to forget how you like bashed me at the beginning. And
so you're saying Cam is being petty.
No, I'm saying Cam was giving CT his just desserts.
Okay. All right. There we go.
Am I wording this right?
Nice save.
All right.
But yeah.
So another question I have before we go ahead and move on to final thoughts is, why did CT and Amber dominate this final? I mean, we've seen people do great in finals. We've seen close finals. Definitely between 2 and 3, it was very close. But since this episode began, it really wasn't. It was so dominant. CT, it was never a question. Even when they got lost, you knew that wasn't going to last too long. Why was CT and Amber B so dominant in this fight?
CT is built for finals. He just knows how to compete in finals. He knows how much energy and effort to give. He's one of these guys that's in this elite male tier with final running that I would put somebody like Jordan and Bananas, and I'd even put, even though he's only been on one, I'd even put somebody like Turbo in. And I just think they're really good at finals. And that's what it was, that CT was so good on his side. And then for Amber, because she was a rookie, she's and not just a rookie, but she's one of these players that is willing to take direction. And she's not just going to be like, this is how I want to do it. And so I feel like with that open type of relationship they had there, where it's like, you kind of lead the way and I'm going to follow, it was just a perfect marriage on a challenge final.
I agree. I think Amber is okay with somebody else taking the lead. And she even said it multiple times throughout this final. She's like, I'm just going to let CT make the decision. I'm just going to let CT do it. Because I think she recognized that she's a rookie and that she has to trust the veteran on her team. So I think a lot of times with issues with CT, with some of the other females, is they're all like, Cam is an alpha. CT is an alpha. They both think they're right. So they battle. So I think that's why Amber was like, okay, this is my first season. I'm deferring to you. You tell me what to do. You tell me where to go, and I'm doing it.
And now I wish that the challenge showed times, because I don't know if this is a fact, but based on what I was watching, I feel like they were doing a really good job at editing it. When CT and Amber crossed, I think that it would be in the top 10 biggest blowouts in finals history, is what I truly think it would have been. I bet that they beat them by 10 plus minutes. Which doesn't seem like a lot, but I'm just saying, like, when they were like stopping and starting at the same spot from the eating, that's a long gap.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, CT did dominate. Amber B did dominate. They are the queen and they're the queen and kings of the Challenge 36 free agents. One hell of a season. Once again, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us, letting us get to talk our shit. Before we move on to episode 3 of the Challenge All-Stars, what are some of your guys' closing thoughts on this season overall? Or any big gripes or hangovers, or anything you guys just want to mention and put your stamp on for the Challenge 36 free agents?
I enjoyed the season. It was okay. It wasn't the best season I've ever seen, but definitely wasn't the worst. I want them to get rid of the gold skull twist. Either that or they need to work it in a different way, because it is destroying the political side of the game of it. And I miss the political strife and the drama. I want to see real drama and not fake drama anymore, because we know all of those fights were fake. They're not real fights. I think the only ones that are real are between Nelson and Fessy. And I think that's the only fight that I believe is actually legitimate.
I think this season is actually has a lot of rewatchability. I think that, a year goes by, this is going to be one of those challenges that somebody can turn on and just kind of marathon through over a weekend, and they're going to be entertained. There's so much value that came out of this season. We had good players top to bottom. We had changing of gameplay. We had upsets and eliminations. We had dirty play. We just had a really good season, I think. And we had a very satisfying, maybe not the most satisfying. I feel like Leroy would have won. That would have been the most, but a pretty satisfying ending to a game that was controlled by an alliance that people weren't in favor of. Which really, I'm just coming to find out that just like challenge fans don't like alliances. Like they say they do, but really they don't. Whoever runs every season just gets shit on for running every season.
It's because their favorite isn't in the alliance and they're upset and it just follows, when, Johnny wasn't in the alliance, people hated the alliances. When, it was Cara and all of her group, they didn't like them because their favorites weren't included. It's just kind of what it is. If my favorite's not in there, I don't like them.
And another fun fact on top of that, though, before we cut over to you, Malik, is that CT is almost in the career winnings, not earnings, winnings. He's almost in the millionaire club.
I was actually going to ask you what his number was at after this win.
He's like 965,000 is what he's won from the show.
So close.
He's 35K away. So he's a 2005 third place finish away from getting that million.
Well, yeah, and once you add in his guaranteed salary, he's probably well over that. I think people have a lot of gripes about this season, and I do think they have. I do think a lot of it is legitimate. But this was a good season. It gave us a lot of different stuff. I do think that this is the last, at least for the time being, that we see the Gold Skull twist. I do agree with you, Tyler, that it does have a lot of rewatchability. This wasn't a bad season. Very, very middle, very, middle of the road. But it gave us some really, really great creative dailies. It gave us a dominant final. TJ's personality was really able to shine, especially with the whole run my final thing, which started last season, but I'd love to see it. I think this was a good season. And coming off of the seriousness of the War of the Worlds trilogy, I like it. I give it a solid 7.58. It was a good season. People, stop complaining about everything.
Thank you. So one question before we jump on over. We don't know this, and I'm not a big spoiler fan where I look up stuff. I like to live in the moment with this show. But there is rumored speculation, the theme isn't confirmed, that the theme for next season is going to have a vet paired up with a rookie on a pair season, similar to like a fresh meat type of thing. How does that make you guys feel about that?
I mean, it's the same thing that happened on World of Worlds.
Yeah, we've seen it.
A vet with a rook,
they're just reinventing the wheel. I think they really need to take some time in considering on who they're going to bring over. There has been, some duds, or just some people who probably looked great, but it just didn't do great. Like, somebody like Ashley Kane, I think would be, probably should be where Fessy is right now. Or, Fessy, I think he's good for the challenge, but he's extremely unlikable. I think the challenge has to do something. Maybe they got to take away some of the seriousness of it to let some of these personalities shine. And it's already a highly tense situation. I think Johnny Bananas is right. I think he's right that sometimes you got to bring some of the old challenge stuff back. You got to bring some of the fun back. Let some of these personalities shine, because people are not liking these new people who they don't really know and probably not behaving like themselves because it's such a highly stressful situation. I'm sure if the challenge was a little bit more fun and Fessy had to be a little bit less serious, we might see a whole different side of it. But everything is so serious. Maybe bring some of the fun back, bring some of the campiness stuff back, and let's see what we got from there. Because being serious all the time isn't really helping things.
Murray, if you hear this, don't steal my idea, but I'd love to be a producer for you and work with you. Work for you. But I think it'd be good in between seasons to have a prospect season, a really short 6-episode prospect season with like 14 people that have never been on the challenge. And if you come in first or second for the male or females, you automatically can earn a right to the next show or shows like in a couple. And then you also let the fans vote on a male and female that didn't win that they would like to see back. And I think that would just be a good way to kind of like get the pool going in the direction that fans would like, with people that we want to see because we've seen them as a prospect. Now we can see them as a challenger, kind of like a college season.
No, I absolutely love that idea. One of my favorite things that only happened once and was never brought back was on Fresh Meat when they did like the combine thing and they let them pick who it was. I thought that was amazing. I thought that was a great idea. I can't believe it hasn't been brought back and done more. And you're right. Even if it's just a 4-episode, a 4-episode special of, who can be in the next challenge. And, you throw in some reality TV stars, throw in a couple of fans, at least to compete for the chance. It really becomes communal, and I think it would be a good thing. But,
What happened to the Spartan race winners? Weren't the Spartan race winners supposed to be eligible?
They were never going to do that.
Yeah, well, the thing is, those guys would never cut it in a challenge. If people are hitting on like former college athletes that have some personality, they would hate if just like CrossFit Joe and Jane came onto the show.
Well, no, I'm just saying because that was something that they were promoting. Come do the Spartan races and maybe you could be on the challenge, This is what you're competing for. That was
the challenge they were talking about. You would be on a challenge, like a challenge in your personal life.
Now
They never met the challenge.
they did do the idea I just kind of gave, so it's not really my idea, but they did it back on spring break, where they did the challenge spring break, where they had 6 challengers go down and coach 6 teams of 6 or whatever. And throughout the
This is where Camilla
event,
came on, right?
that's where Camilla came from. Throughout the 2-day event, teams got eliminated
in 2010.
And it came down to 2 teams, and then Camilla was on the winning team, and she got selected from that to be on the challenge easily. Just go to spring break, pick a different hot spot every year. That's your prospects. 4 episodes, 30 minutes each. Bam. And you can get 2 good people that fans want to see. Minimum. Anyways.
Moving on.
One hell of a season. Double Agents comes to a close. We're going to go ahead and move on to the 3rd episode of the Challenge All-Stars. I watched this like a week ago, so thank God I took notes.
I watched it like Thursday morning.
All right. Kendall Shepard gets a win. She comes back to the house. She's riding high. One hell of a win. And we end up on Jemmy and Nehemiah. Jemmy decides that she wants to form an alliance with Nehemiah. Okay, so that's a good thing to explore. Why do you think Jemmy decide that Nehemiah is going to be the guy to team up with? Becky?
Because he's handsome.
Is that what it is? Just purely attractive?
No.
Of all the guys in the house, there's Derek, there's Mark. Don't get me wrong. I have a lot of love and I have a lot of respect for Nehemiah. I think he's a great challenger.
I think he's the best challenger there on the male side.
What?
When it comes to all aspects of the game, he brings things that other competitors don't. Like, we love Alton and Derek, but they're not political players. Like, we love Mark, but he's not this like endurance guy that's going to like kill himself to get a job done. He's not going to win dailies really on an individual basis, and I just think Nehemiah is the most well-rounded. I think he's the most woke in what the game is. And I think that's because he's the youngest guy there. I don't know. I'm just guessing that he's the youngest there. I'm pretty sure he's like 35, but that's just, to me, I mean, he won the first 2 dailies. So coming into episode 3,
I don't know if I agree with you there. Nehemiah being the best all around.
Who's better there?
Can't put him over Mark Long, even if he is old as shit. Mark Long is just better than him. And
if those two dropped in a final right now, with 4 of the people, I could say Mark would get 5th or 6th place, and Nehemiah would come in the top 2. Like, I can say that.
You have such a hatred for Mark.
No. I don't think that's taking place now. I just fundamentally disagree with what you're saying. I just don't see it.
Okay, so let's just be honest about Jemmy. I think she thinks that he's got political prowess, but let's just be honest. Jemmy is not really been, I guess, compatible with a lot of guys on the challenges. And I think Nehemiah kind of catches her attention. And and from what I'm seeing and from what I'm seeing in the future episodes, they're snuggly and cuddly going on. So
we don't know if that's him.
No, it is him.
It's her.
That is him.
That is him.
I didn't know it was him. I just saw Jemmy and I saw what could have been him. Like,
so interesting. Nehemiah said on Twitter, he said it was just snuggling. He said he is still 0 for 5 for sex in a challenge house. First off, and part of my language, but nigga, you lied. That's 1. 2.
Who did he? Wait, you're saying that he?
There's somebody. There's no way I believe that Nehemiah is 0 for 5 for sex in a challenge house.
He's so handsome. I don't know how.
The whole tenderoni thing?
Yeah, but
no. Wait. He openly said he had absolutely no interest in Beth physically at all.
Which I always thought was weird. Something. It has to be something there. Something we don't know. He can't be 0 for 5.
I mean, he could. He had that time in the challenge where he was like very spiritual and like very in your face about being spiritual. And I think that was very off-putting to some people. So
Particularly
he's very
Evan.
spiritual now.
Yeah,
I know, but we're not seeing episodes of him like inviting people into like his his, I don't know what they're called, so I'm not going to say anything because I don't want to insult.
Why did that piss off Dunbar and Evans so much?
Because he put up motivational things that they said was passive aggressive towards them.
God, challenge fans
they were
swear
projecting.
everything's passive aggressive.
Big guy, don't understand big word. That's on Dunbar, because Evan's actually extremely intelligent from what I've understood and what I heard.
All right, so let's. No, you're being funny, right?
No, I know. I've heard he's a really intelligent guy, like on the show. Like he plays dumb, but I heard he's got a college degree. Like
that does not mean anything.
Hopefully it does, because I'm about to have one, so I'm gonna ride off of that.
Listen, I'm trying to get a college degree, but it doesn't mean I'm a genius or I'm super smart or not a meathead.
Listen, Ben Shapiro skipped 2 grades and has a law degree from Harvard. Says some of the dumbest shit I've ever seen.
So does Ted Cruz.
We're not even going to go there. Let's go ahead and move on to the daily. The daily today is Melt Away, a classic. The last time we seen this was Tyler.
I don't even know. This is from like Battle of the Sexes 2?
Battle of the Sexes. Either Battle of the Exes, maybe?
No, it's sexist.
No.
It was sexist.
Okay, cool. Melt Away. Big block of ice. You gotta hump it, spit on it, and you gotta do the most to melt this ice so you can get something and go out. Now,
you don't have to hump it. You do not have to hump it. I don't know where anybody thinks like that's what you got to do. Kellyanne,
they're creating friction.
It's not like it's not a pole. You're not doing a dance. You're not doing a performance right now. Like it's just put your body on it. That's all you got to do.
She really was doing a whole ass performance.
She had a routine going on.
Yo, let me tell you one of my favorite things about this daily Melt Away. You got a whole bunch of challengers. They're looking over a block of ice and they go like, "Yeah, I'm gonna fuck it."
Well, you could be like Darrell and pee on it.
Yes,
genius.
It probably was the best idea, but it was probably also the most absolutely disgusting. People are spitting on it, throwing up on it. I mean, Darrell just lifts a leg and pees on it, which...
Mark in his corner. I got this corner. Don't worry about it, guys.
Well, what's one of my friends said, like, man, after they started hitting it with the hammer, they're like, if a chunk that had pee on it hit me in the face, I'd be pissed.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's funny because it shows the challenge was fully aware that they wasn't going to get nowhere fast. They're like, we're going to just have them do this for 60 minutes and then give them a hammer, because they had those hammers right on deck. Either they knew that was going to happen, or like 15 minutes into it, somebody's like, yo, run to the store real quick and go get some fucking hammers. So they knew they wasn't going to be able to break it up.
The last time they did it, it was in a place that was really hot, wasn't it? It was in like one of the more tropical locations. This is cold. This is colder.
I don't remember which Battle of the Sexes it was on, if it was on 1 or 2, but Battle of the Sexes 1 was in Jamaica and Battle of the Sexes 2 was in Santa Fe, New Mexico. So, I mean, warmer places. Yeah, for sure.
And this is not a warmer place. So obviously they're not going to have just it melting in general because of the climate, and on top of people, rubbing themselves on it. So I just think they thought it would be fun to bring back a throwback, but they didn't think logistically how this would work.
So on Challenge Mania, they broke it down. Derek broke it down, and he was like, pretty much they had us go at it without the hammer for as long as possible. And then as soon as they got all the good shots that they wanted to use, they're like, all right, we're good. Now you guys can use a hammer and we can get this challenge over. And Derek said it was cool because you got to have like that funny, like creative moments and everything that challenge fans like to see.
Yeah,
but then you got
go
to see
make good TV.
Exactly. But then you got to see this badass part about these people just like destroying this block of ice. So it was like a best of both worlds for a production standpoint, whether or not it was planned. Like you said, somebody just ran to the store real quick.
It was for another debate.
But
definitely planned. And that definitely makes a lot of sense. It seems like something they would do. But the funniest thing is after it, Nehemiah loses. And since he's the captain of the team, he pretty much knows he's going in. Teck starts shit talking.
Yeah.
And
the hell was that?
Yeah, exactly. I didn't get it. I was just like, all right, if this is a guy who's most likely going in, why are you popping shit? Do you think it was to the point where Teck was trying to engineer himself getting thrown into elimination? It seemed like if I wanted to go on elimination, this is what I would do.
He did it after the first challenge. After they won, he did the same thing. He was all taunting and everything. I just think it's his personality. I just think he's like if you were out playing basketball at your park, he's just a baller. Like he's gonna score on you and be like in your face about it. But then if you score, he's not gonna care. Like he's just there for the show. And he's okay with it. Like Nehemiah said, "Oh yeah, be ready. I'm gonna call you out and everything." He was like, "Cool, sounds good." Like he doesn't.
I'm pretty sure Teck must have been punched in the face so many times in a public setting. Because I know guys like that. I'm just like, yo, like somebody had to duff him out just several times, just being who he is. I actually hear that he's going to be the next guest on Challenge Mania, so that should be a real interesting listen.
Yes, I saw that. I mean, he's just a fun character. I mean, I think he's what we've been missing. You know, the naked guy, you know, who just doesn't care. I mean, I missed it. I was like, yeah, I remember Teck, because Teck and Ruthie were hilarious
together. They were naked all over Hawaii. It was the first thing they did.
Naked.
And it was nice to see him go skinny dipping too, because it really just brought back those Hawaii vibes. And it really made me remember how awesome of a season Hawaii really was.
Yes, I honestly really kind of stopped watching Real World after Hawaii. It just seemed to lose its
I watched it
sparkle.
all the way to Go Big and Go Home.
Yeah, same.
Yes. And speaking of Go Big and Go Home, big shout out to CJ, one of my favorite. I would love to see her on a challenge one of these days. She is feisty. She is a American treasure.
Oh, is she the one that beat up the racist chick?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that was just so great. That was everything.
She literally go, bah, bah, bah.
Just got pushed to the limit. I mean, normally I do not condone violence against anybody, but bitch had it. So
she kept pushing. I saw this clip and she just was poking. I'm surprised that she held us on. I don't know. Tyler's doing something.
Yeah. What's going on?
I'm just doing some magic, man. I mean,
all right. So, yeah, so that was a pretty gross daily. One of the parts of the daily, was when you're banging it with the hammer, you can't break the shield. So it looked like Team Markingham was going to get the win, and
they broke two shields.
Oh yeah, go team
penalty.
Right. So Kendall and Darrell gets the win. Kendall gets the lifesaver, which I'm pretty sure is something that we won't have to talk about for the rest of the episode. And
not at all.
And Nehemiah's going in. Nehemiah immediately targets Teck. They're like, hey, who do you want? Because as long as the person who's going in saying they want somebody who's not you, it's in everybody's best interest to give it to them. Are you guys surprised at the lack of the really strong alliances at this point? There's a lot of old school players. You think the clicking up would begin between the strong people automatically, but there really is no big overall alliance going so far. Does that strike you guys as odd?
Can I make a bold statement that might piss a lot of people off?
Oh, please do.
And I don't care if you're on the show. I don't care if you're bigger, badder than me. I don't care if you're bitchier or meaner than me and you can tweet out. I don't care. OGs play a scared game. That's what they do. It's a smart game, but it's a scared game. It's anybody but me is okay. Because if it's not me, I get to stay. And you just don't rustle any feathers. You kind of stay back. You kind of let your funny side bloom and you're going to stay longer. And that's kind of what this whole thing is. They're all scared. Even the guys that have been playing recently, they're scared that they don't want to ruffle any feathers and they just want to kind of go with the flow. And it makes for TV.
And Becky?
I mean,
I'm not wrong.
You see alliances, but they're really not as boisterous. And I guess you can treat it towards they're older. They're there just to reminisce and have fun. They're not as crazy competitive, and it's still early. So I guess we'll see if getting closer to the end, where the finals coming along, how cutthroat it's going to get. I think right now they're just in the easy phase. Okay, I'll go in. No big deal. You know, if I go home, I go home.
All right. So Kendall Shepard gets the lifesaver, and they all head out. They're having a couple of drinks. You know, people whose, you know, butts on the line is asking, what is she going to do with the lifesaver? She's enjoying having the attention on her. Some people did not like how she was kind of playing it, which the way she was playing it was just like, I don't really have, you know, I haven't put a lot of thought into it. I'm open to making a decision. And just her being open to using it puts a lot of the guys on pins and needles. Beth was talking about how she was power tripping. Jemmye saying, you know, it's all going to her head. What do you guys think about the way that Kendall had the lifesaver during this, you know, during the club break?
I mean, I don't see her having this power trip ego situation. Like, maybe there's something they're not showing, but I feel like it's a bunch of sour grapes. And we'll reiterate like who Jemmye is. And, you know, let's just be honest. Some of these people are petty betties who are mad. And I don't know. I didn't see her power tripping. I just saw her just kind of being like, I may use it because I kind of want to see what'll happen when I use it. Like, do I get to choose or do they get to choose? I think she just wanted to know what would happen if she used a lifesaver.
Well, I think the main point is that her using the indecisiveness was keeping everybody on their toes. But isn't this part of the game? Tyler.
I mean, rhetorical question. Did they not all just fucking vote her in last week and all were pretty much pointing fingers at her and talking shit about her and the way that she didn't jump in the water and everything? And now it's like, but now she's gonna maybe put me in. Like, how dare her? Like, fuck all of you scared ass fucking people. I'm so tired of it. It's annoying.
How do you really feel, Tyler?
It's just annoying. And you know what? Maybe I'm very passionate about this because Kendall is somebody that like I'm personally rooting for on this show, just because she's good to our podcast and everything. She's good to the Challenge podcast community. And I don't ever get that. It's kind of, it reminds me, I feel like people hate when I do this. It's just like when Wes gets power. Like maybe I'm because I'm a Wes fan, but like everybody is constantly, since the first season he's been in, is just always shitting on him, making fun of him and throwing him in. So when he gets power, they're like, how dare he? Like when you put somebody into a corner and then they get out of it, they're going to talk shit. They're going to do whatever they can. They're going to fight back.
Kendall's just a genuinely nice person.
Yes.
I don't think she's going to do anything. I don't think she was ever really going to use it. I think she was just curious and she just didn't want to make a decision. So leave the girl alone. Let her mull.
I definitely agree with you. I don't think that she was planning on really using it. I think she wanted to see if there was an opportunity that she could use it to better her game. I think that she definitely could have went a better way about doing it. I don't think she was very skilled in how to use that to benefit her cause. I think that, you know the strategy. You have a little bit of power. You leverage that power for more power later on. Hey, always. Nehemiah, looks like you're going in today, but I might need you down the line. So let me save your ass. We're going to send this weak person down here. He's going to get washed out. But when I need your help, Nehemiah, you better have my back. And that was really the way to use it. And I think she really missed the opportunity there.
So this whole voting system is very flawed. I don't know if these challengers have figured it out yet, and they might later on in a couple of episodes. But realistically, if your number one wins the life shield, you can just walk down and be like, hey guys, I'll nominate myself. I'll go in. I had a bad day. Put me in. And now your number one, your best friend saves you. You and them can pick whoever you want to go in if that's what we think is going to happen. I think it's pretty interesting. I think Kendall would have used it if she had known what the rules were.
Yeah, 100%. Definitely a missed opportunity. And you're definitely right about that. The lifesaver could definitely come and kick ass later on. But let's go ahead and move on to the nomination process. Teck already put a target on his back by, shit-talking Nehemiah. And then when all gets sent down there, he goes, yeah, I guess I could kind of read the room. I was talking shit. I'd be more than happy to go down into elimination.
And Jemmye actually said something great. She was like, you make them vote you in. You don't nominate. You make people show their cards.
Absolutely.
Very smart of Jemmy.
Absolutely. But what do you make of Teck voting himself into nomination? I know it can be done in a very, very dope way, in a very honorable way. I don't think it's a lack of honor of what's going on here, but it doesn't really seem necessary. He was probably going to go in anyway, but like I say, he's only going in because he was running his mouth at the beginning. So what do you make of Teck voting himself in? Was it honorable? Was it going to happen anyway? Or did he set himself up for this?
I think he knew, I think it was going to go in anyway. Nehemiah had outright said it to people, and that's what everybody was, what the person who was going to be the speaker was about to say anyway, which would literally just cause a tidal wave of everybody picking him anyway. So I get it. I know I want to get voted in. I know everybody's going to vote for me. I'll just go in anyway, and I'll look like I'm the one being honorable, but at the end of the day, I know I was going to get voted in anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. That's the way you want to play it. So we get down to the elimination, and after all of these gripes that everybody was talking about, oh, what is Kendall going to do? What is this? Yada, 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 yada. She decides she's not going to use a lifesaver. Nehemiah didn't want her to anyway. It's going to be Teck and Nehemiah. The name of the game is Going Out of Town. Now, this game, for lack of a better word, it looks like one of the classic ones I've seen from the duel. We've seen something like this. They got to start in a circle. They got to run in. They got to break all these tiles, which are tiled across four corners and up on the ceiling, and run back to the circle. Easy enough. But before they do, TJ makes him eat a ghost pepper. What's the exact word for it? For the exact kind of pepper it is? Carolina Reaper.
Hot as fuck.
Yeah, a Carolina Reaper, which are, I mean, I've had them before. They are hot. Even when you use them in season, you use literally just the tiniest pinch. First off, this elimination is stupid. It's really basic, and that's a lot saying for me. I always believe that the best eliminations is where they do the least. The best eliminations has the least amount of stuff. Pole wrestle. Here goes a pole, take it. Hall brawl. Here goes a hall. Run through each other. And I didn't like this at all. I didn't like the Carolina Reaper in the beginning. Hey, before you go do the stupid shit, let me make your mouth hot and make you throw up. What did you guys think of today's daily before they go? Today's elimination before they actually go and do the elimination?
I mean, I think the daily was a little bit more even. So obviously physical head to head, Nehemiah had a really big, one up on Teck. So might have evened the odds. The fact that Nehemiah didn't have to fight him, literally just had to race and punch through holes. I do not know why they had the pepper in there at all. That was like
ridiculous.
Let's just laugh at everybody puking. Like, no, I don't really want to see that. Nehemiah, though, did take it like a boss, where he did start puking for a little bit.
Absolutely. And seeing TJ laugh in that fashion was also enjoyable, but I don't really think it really added anything to the challenge. It didn't make, I hate stuff that doesn't make the challenge better. And this just really was just something to do for the sake of doing it. Tyler?
Somebody get these boys some milk. Sorry.
Facts.
There's a phrase that I want to use, but I don't know if it's a politically correct phrase to use anymore. So I don't want to say it, but it involves like dance. And I don't know if it's like right, but it just seemed like MTV was like, just do this to entertain us. It really has nothing to do with the elimination, but just like, we want to get entertained. So eat this pepper. That's what it seemed like to me. There was no point to it, no value. It was just to get some quick little laughs for the audience and for TJ and the challengers. It really would just, it seemed unnecessary. It seemed inappropriate to me.
Extra.
Yeah, it was too much. And I do think that this elimination could have been better if there was like 3 cages. Like if there was like 3 of those and you had to like run to them and do all of them. And like, I feel like if there was like, you had to hit out 50 tiles, that could mess with your mind on like, did I get them all?
Yes.
Type of thing. Instead of they only had to hit out, I don't know the number, but it looked like 20.
Yeah, just a handful. The biggest problem I have, besides the fucking pepper, which was just dumb, but the biggest problem I probably had was this elimination looked lazy as shit. Even in this season on Double Agents, where they had the thing, where they had to run across and swing and grab the rings, I thought that was kind of okay. I think it just looked dumb. I do think it was hard to do or whatever, but at least it looked like they put a lot of thought into it. This one just looked lazy. It's like, come on, I know the challenge is capable of something so much better, and it just looked lazy. I wasn't very excited, and I didn't think that Teck was going to win, even though this one came out to be a lot closer than I thought it was going to be.
Well, we think. We don't know if Teck actually
think.
hit all of his things in, but if he did, yeah. Here's the biggest issue that I have with this, is that the show is called The Challenge. The whole point is that it's supposed to challenge regular people that became reality stars in ways that they're not used to. But this seemed very straightforward. Use your fist or foot to punch this, get back here. Very simple things. Like even something like pole wrestle or like hall brawl, that's not simple. It's a challenge. Like, how do I get this from them? So I think when you take away the name of the game, which is the challenge, and it's not really a challenge anymore, then yeah, it doesn't belong. And this would be better suited for like a gym class challenge.
Or Big Brother.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, this would be perfect for Big Brother.
Facts.
Yeah.
Well, Nehemiah gets the win, and he goes home and celebrates by banging Jemmy. Or not banging Jemmy. Nehemiah and Jemmy. Why? Like, I don't know. That's just me. Anyway, that's going to conclude this episode of
You don't
the
think
Challenge
Jemmy is a
All-Stars.
hot piece of lady butt?
I am not here to comment on females' looks. I'm just going to say, not exactly my cup of tea.
Conclude our episode of The Challenge, also episode 3.
Yeah, exactly. Look at that. Yo, Becky's trying to get me caught up. She's trying to get me canceled on Twitter all over again.
How dare you?
Listen.
Gosh.
Hey, it's not my fault. He said, Jemmy, why? Which is enough to get him canceled.
It had nothing to do with looks. It just seems like an odd couple kind of thing.
This isn't Are You the One or the Match Me If You Can show that Ashley and Natalie are going to be on. This is The Challenge.
I'm just happy we're getting Natalie back on MTV. One, come on. She's entertaining. Two, yeah, I just don't get it. I don't see where it helps politically. Jem's the brain and Nehemiah's the muscles. Worst fucking duo I ever heard of in my fucking life. So I don't know.
Nehemiah just won trivia. He's the brain.
Right? And Jemmy's the muscle, that's even worse. But
no. Jemmy's the political player. That's what it is. Nehemiah brings mind and strength. Jemmy brings social status.
Who the fuck said Jemmy's a political one?
I don't know.
Judging from what I've seen on her seasons, not much to sneeze at. Anyway, it is what it is.
Can I ask a question? I know we probably talked about this before. What has crawled into Anissa's ass that she's literally going after Ruthie and Kendall, some of probably the nicest people.
But you know what? You're 100% right about Anissa, and we did just skip right over that too. Anissa, I think Anissa is terrified of Ruthie. Ruthie is a beast and a half. Ruthie's whole thing is knocking down people bigger than her. Ruthie is a force, has been a force. Don't fuck with Ruthie. And Ruthie is the truth. That's what she is. She is the fucking truth. I'd be scared of that too if I was full of shit like the other person is.
Question. If Beth is Jemmy's stepmom and Mark is her stepdad, does that mean that Nehemiah is her former stepdad? And that's like, I don't know, how's that work? Because he was with Beth before, and now like, how's this whole role work with like Jemmy getting mentored by Beth? And
listen, this tree is a tangled web.
Yeah, it's the worst tree ever.
It's about to be Game of Thrones in this bitch.
Right. You pick Beth as your mentor?
Hey, Beth's great, but this is like getting into like a weird, like the whole like who's hooked up with who. It's like a weird, nasty 7 degrees of bacon type thing.
Yeah, exactly.
They tried to do that on YouTube where they tried to connect who slept with who, and it's insane.
On the challenge, it's just that everybody with everybody.
Just a spider web.
It's like this person slept with this person who slept with this person who slept with this person, but this person also slept with this person, and they slept with that one.
Kyle and Ashley are just in the middle, and then it's spider webs to everybody else.
And Corey. Don't forget Corey.
Yeah, Corey's that's a triangle. It's Corey, Kyle, and Ashley.
All right, that's going to close out the Challenge All-Stars episode 3. We're still going to do All-Stars on a kind of, I'm not exactly sure about the schedule, but we'll get to you with that. But expect to see us throughout the season. Make sure you visit shopthechallenge.com for all of your customizable challenge gear. Get your name on the current seasons, just not All-Stars. I can't do the gold for you. There are other people out there who make shirts who should be able to hook you up. I believe her name is Danny Mark. Go check her out on Twitter. She can get you guys taken care of. Make sure you visit shop.lwcpodcast.com for all your Love War Challenges gear. Support the pod. We appreciate it. Make sure you visit us on Twitter at LWC Podcast. Make sure you visit us on Instagram at LWC Podcast. Facebook at facebook.com/LWCpodcast.com. And are we Love War Challenges on TikTok? Love War Challenges on TikTok. We're actually killing it over there. So make sure you follow us there. Besides that, Tyler, close us out.
You just did.
No,
I just
gave us a follow list. Tyler, close us out.
I mean, yeah,
No.
episode.
1 second, we're waiting on Tyler to close us out. Do it.
It's a great episode, Podsters. Great season, Podsters. Thanks for, here's what I want to say. Thanks for being very patient with us. We took some time off, got some mental health for a lot of us, and are back on track and the train's moving. Be sure to stay in touch with us. Like, we are literally going to deliver content week by week on TikTok, day by day, Instagram, every other day by every other day. We are out there to put out content for you guys, but thank you guys for tuning in and listening to us. Check us out on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, everywhere you can get podcasts. And literally check us out on TikTok. If you're not there yet, check us out on TikTok. 1-minute videos of the challenge will just kind of like get you ready for and that's what we're there to do.
Absolutely. Great job, Tyler. Before we leave, I want to let you guys know my other podcast, 224 The Basement, will be coming back out for season 2. Expect to see that next week. Make sure you go follow on Apple Podcasts. Make sure you follow on Spotify. Make sure you follow us on YouTube, 224 The Basement Podcast. That's going to do it for us. A wonderful season. Can't wait to see you guys for season 37 and all throughout All-Stars. With that said, I am MTV Malik. She is Becky at GIF Master Bex. He is Tyler Louder. This is Love War Challenges Podcast. Good night, Pastors.
Peace.
Bye.